Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. Starting a new session today. Today is the 26th of January 2011, and in the intervening break since the last time I recorded, I got some comments in. One of the biggest and most important is that the focus test I wrote doesn't actually work. It passes, but it can't possibly fail. So right now, the way I've got the code set up is that, here, let me pull this up real quick. The way the code is set up is I've actually changed it so that it isn't working. Let me run this for you so you can see that. So if I type in 10 here and then tab away, it doesn't change it to a 10, $10, but the test doesn't fail. And the reason for that is because I've commented this out. So, I mean, that's why the code isn't working. I've commented out the actual focus listener. And the reason for that is that the invoke later actually runs asynchronously. So what's happening is this test is running, putting this code, this assertion on the calling thread, and then exiting and never running. And this really indicates why it's so important to see a failing test before you get the passing test. This one really bit me. Fortunately, Matthias, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, on my blog left a comment saying, hey, you know, that test doesn't actually fail. So I really appreciate that, Matthias. Thank you very much. And it's quite simple. I just need to call this synchronously rather than asynchronously. I say it's simple. I haven't tried this. Hopefully this will cause the test to fail. And it does. And now I need to make it pass. So I think this just illustrates once again how dangerous threads can be. Oh, drat. Okay, I expected that to work. I'm so tempted to say things that I shouldn't say in a family-friendly show, because you know you all have your 4-year-olds watching this, right? Anyway, maybe it would be more entertaining if I did start cursing out the screen. I don't know what's going on here. Invocation target exception. What does that mean? We're seeing invoke and wait. Well, there's something else. Boy, there's all kinds of problems here. Something else that was mentioned on episode 79, Alan, who didn't give his last name, informed me and the other readers of the blog that you shouldn't actually create listeners inside of a constructor and pass them in to an event handler. That could be part of what's happening here. I'm not really sure. Also on the blog, Matthias found a solution for the problem he was seeing. He was able to make the test fail, and I assume make it pass as well. Oops, wrong one. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. So right here, this is the solution he got. He would dispatch a focus gained event, set the text, and then pass a focus lost event. And that worked, he said, but that concerns me a little bit because the event handler is on a separate thread as far as I know. So if this works, I think it's working by coincidence. So I don't think I want to try Matthias' solution. If I'm wrong, I'm sure some of you out there will let me know why I'm wrong, but that doesn't feel right to me because we're dealing with multiple threads here, I think. And actually, I don't know Eclipse well enough to discover the answer to that, whether or not we're actually running multiple threads. I guess that would be interesting. Let's go ahead and fire up the debugger and see if we can figure out where the thread management stuff is. Threads. Oh, now here's something. Okay. Yeah, there's our event queue. All right. and that's running, and it is running on the event queue thread, and presumably passing. Or maybe not. I really can't tell. Okay. So as I was saying, this really proves the difficulty of operating with threads, particularly when you're dealing with a sort of a black box of stuff other people have written and is big and complicated, and I personally don't understand all that well. I try to understand it, but I don't really. So one thing I want to see is whether or not we ever get to here. Oh, we don't. The assertion is attempted. It apparently fails. Because these assertions, as far as I know, they throw an exception when they fail. And then we get this invocation target exception. Invocation target exception. That must be because this is throwing an exception. So I wonder if, boy, this is just getting uglier and uglier. I wonder if we need to do something like this. I don't know if I got the syntax right there. Let's just make that a string. Sorry, Eclipse is pausing to contemplate the nature of swing and all the methods inside of it. We'll just wait for that to go through. All right. Whew, that is nasty. Oh, look at that. Okay, now it's working. Sort of. Expected $10 was 10. So this is clearly being run. It's so I'm guessing that the reason that doesn't work is because the way JUnit works is when an assertion fails, it throws an exception. That exception bubbles up and is caught by a top-level handler inside of JUnit, which then logs that exception as a failure. And by doing an assertion inside of this runnable class, it was bubbling up to a different place. It wasn't bubbling up to JUnit, it was bubbling up to swing, Swing didn't know what to do about it, and that was that. It was dying out. So what's interesting to me is that our focus lost still doesn't appear to be being called. And now maybe what Matthias was talking about is the issue. Maybe we need to make sure that we actually have given it the focus. Maybe it's smart enough not to pass focus lost event to a to something that doesn't already have focus. Well, let's go ahead and run this. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, well, hey, you know, at least it doesn't work for the right reasons. Oh, right. Never mind. There, now it works. Now, does the test know it works? The test knows it works. But if I take this out, the test fails. That's interesting. Do I really need to do this invoke and wait? I think I do. It appears to, I mean, going based on Matthias's success with it, you know, I think it will work without doing that invoke and wait, but I don't know why, and I don't trust it. So I am, I think that's actually a race condition. I think it's just a purely based on coincidence that it's working, and that if for some reason the event got slowed down for some reason, for example, if I'd done a swing utilities dot invoke later yay Java and the land of the 1,000 characters sleep. So if I had this sleep for a while, I wonder what would happen. Well, I still don't trust doing this without actually explicitly waiting on that other thread, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It may not be necessary, but interestingly, this is one of those really complicated, difficult situations where the test can't tell you whether or not the code's working properly, because it's really based on you understanding how the internals work, because actually I think it's a design failure of Swing. Swing should fail when you're using it improperly, and it doesn't. That's a hard thing to fix, but anyway, I think the title for this episode is going to be Clunk, 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 and for those of you wondering, that's the sound of my head hitting the desk as I had to spend a whole 15 minutes on this problem. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you next time.